Hi, families. Thank you so much for logging on to the Curriculum Night video presentation. I'm going to talk through a few things with you, and I want you to know that if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me at any time, and I will be happy to answer them. My email is right here on this first slide, kmcdonald@liverpool.k12.ny.us. And I have been loving Parent Square, so you can always send me a message on there as well. So, first of all, as I said before, thank you for being a partner with me on this school year journey together. It's nice to be here every day in person, and you have adorable, sweet kids. So, nice job. Here is our daily schedule. I'll just walk you through it quickly. We start off with there's free breakfast in the cafeteria every day for any students who like it. I know my son eats breakfast at home and then again at school. So that's always an option for any children who are interested. We do a morning meeting where we greet each other, have some social skills as far as like sharing and listening to our friends. And then we do our positivity project, which is our social emotional learning. So this week's positivity trait is open-mindedness, and we're talking all about not having a closed point of view to the world and being able to see other people's thoughts and opinions. After our morning meeting, we do a knowledge read aloud, which I will talk more about later, but it's probably one of the students' favorite times of the day, and they get to sit and listen to really content-rich stories and informational texts. And then after the knowledge lesson is our daily skills lesson. And our skills lesson is really, truly the science of reading, brain-based reading research being applied how students learn to read. So we focus on hearing all of the individual sounds in words, being able to produce the individual sounds in words, knowing that every letter has a sound, knowing how to break apart words by their sounds and put them together to read the word. And that is really the main emphasis of first grade and the reason why I love teaching it, because we're showing students how to read. We do go to recess. Sometimes we go before lunch and sometimes we go after lunch, but usually after our skills lesson is when we have recess. The students need a little bit of a break. Their brains have been thinking really hard. And after that, we have math, and our math program, we'll talk more about it later, but you're going to be amazed at the mathematical thinking that your child will do this school year. It's fantastic, and they really get a good, solid understanding of numbers and number sense and how to think through problems and how to solve them. We have special area after math. After that is something called RTI, which is where we're able to work with students in individual groups on what they need and provide enrichment and support during that time. We also have a little bit of science and social studies with an afternoon snack in there. I know that's really important to a lot of kids. They love snack time. So thank you so much for sending in a daily snack with your child every day. And then we go home for dismissal. So I talked briefly before about our knowledge lessons, which are our read alouds, and they have a lot of science and social studies built into them. This is the knowledge strand, and they allow students to develop background knowledge on, like I said, science and social studies concepts. They introduce all different types of vocabulary, and we have some really great discussions and do some writing off of that. And then the other lesson that is a part of our ELA is the skills strand, and that's what I was explaining. It's how you learn to read and write. So it's systematic and explicit direction. We do grammar, we do spelling, we go over the process of writing, and it's the books that students are reading in class. Everything that is in those books has been explicitly taught in our skills lessons. So students are never going to come across a word that they have either not been exposed to the sounds or not been taught about why it is tricky. Those tricky words we introduce to them separately. So throughout the year, you will see some take-home letters. So here's an example of two, and I have one right in front of me now. And these take-home letters are a really great way for you to practice all of those sounds and all of those skills that were taught in our reading instruction. So if you look at these words, students would be able to use, they've learned all these letter sounds, so they'd be able to sound them out independently. And then the words on the bottom of the page have a star next to them, meaning that they're tricky words. Here, A does not say a like it does in fat. A says a. Once students really start reading stories, you're going to see these types of letters, and these are fluency sheets. This is the story that we read in the classroom, and it's sent home for your child to read at home. And you'll see that the tricky words are underlined. All the other words, your child should be able to sound out. This is great practice for home, and it will also allow you to see if your student is keeping up in the classroom and able to read the stories independently. Okay, after our skills lesson, students work on Amplify, and Amplify is a computer-based program, and it allows students to work at their own individual levels. So students take an assessment on the computer, and then it tracks what they are strong in and what they still need to work on, and it pushes out lessons that are just right for them. Okay, so here is our math program. Our math program is called Ready, and Ready focuses heavily on student communication, making connections, and solving problems. A huge part of Ready is called math discourse, which is really just talking with a partner and sharing how you solved the problem and explaining your thoughts, because this really helps them understand that there is more than one way to find the solution, and that they start to make connections between how they thought about an answer and how their partner thought about an answer. So Ready every week will send a family letter home, and the family letter explains what our focus is for math this week. So those will look like that, and they will say Dear Family on the top. And sometimes they have activities that you can do at home. During our math block, we use two different types of math books. We have a math skills book. So this is what we work in together. The lessons come out of this, and this is where our math discourse comes from, and we talk about how we found the answer. And there's a lot of use of manipulatives, which is where students are using counters and 10 frames and number bonds and showing their work. And then this is our workbook. So the pages in here students do independently. So you will see the pages come home from those each day. And here, by the way, I just wanted to show you is our math toolkit with our 10 frame and our number bonds and some of our manipulatives, our counters. And we use that to explain our thinking and to show our work. So our computer-based program for extra support for math is called iReady. And iReady, same as Amplify, students take an assessment, and then it gives them an individualized learning pathway. And this is really great because some students need enrichment, and this will put them at a higher level for math, and they can work on that level. And some students need extra support, so it will put them right where they need to be, and it tracks their progress and understanding of different math concepts. So as far as science and social studies, a lot of it is integrated into the knowledge read-alouds like I spoke about earlier. Right now, we just finished a whole unit on fables and folk tales, and we learned about the different places around the world where these fables and folk tales came from. So that ties into social studies with we work with maps. We talk about different types of communities. And our next knowledge section will be on the human body. So that is where students will learn all about the different body systems, and that ties into science. In addition, for science, we also have BOCE science kits, which are fantastic. And we have a whole kit on sound, and students learn about the science of sound and how sound is made. And they even get to make kazoos, homemade kazoos. It's a very noisy day in the classroom. So those will come home at some point, but it's a time that students really do love and enjoy. Okay, back to our morning meeting that I explained earlier happens first at the beginning of the day. So we start the day off right. We do our social emotional learning, and that is where we use the content from the Positivity Project. So there's 24 character strengths that we all have these things within us, and it's getting students to realize what they are, what they're strong in, and then what they need to work on in order to build healthy, strong relationships with others. Okay, I've talked about this a bunch of times, but Parent Square is absolutely awesome. It's basically a way for you to quickly even text message the teacher. You can send one-on-one quick messages to me. I will get it on my phone. I have my Apple Watch, so I'll get a notification while I'm teaching, and I know I need to check it. I can check it and get back to you. I did send everybody a picture of your child working in the classroom. So if you have not gotten Parent Square, I highly recommend you to go to the App Store. You can get it on your smartphone and download the app. And you just need to put your email address in that you use for the school. And all of the information for Long Branch and for our class will come through there. Okay. I know that we are still living in crazy times. So I wanted to talk briefly about what might happen if your child becomes quarantined. We are following guidelines within our classroom. Desks are 3 feet apart, and we're social distancing as much as possible. But I know people are living their lives in safe ways and still getting sick. So in the unfortunate event that your child has to quarantine, you will hear from a district hired tutor. And my role is to send home work. So I would rip out the math workbook pages and the skills pages and whatever story we are reading that week. I would send them home with your child, and I would also send home the Chromebook. And your child's Chromebook, let me just grab one, looks like this. They should know how to use it because we use it in the classroom. But on their Chromebook, they will be able to access the iReady individualized computer instruction and the Amplify individualized computer instruction. So that will be helpful for you. But if you have any questions, let me know, and we can work through it together. We are going to use Google Classroom in the classroom with the students, and I will be pushing out morning work on there. We're not at that point yet. We're still learning the classroom rules and procedures. But if this happens later on in the year, students would be able to also look on our Google Classroom and do the morning work from there or complete any assignments that might be on there. Okay, so just a couple quick things to remember. The orange take-home folders, make sure that you check them every single night. It will show your students work from the day, and if there's a note from school, that will be in there as well. Please keep sending that snack every day. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You guys have been amazing at that, and you've been amazing at water bottles. So thank you for being responsible with snack water bottles. Oh, and you guys have been great with sneakers. The kids have been coming prepared with sneakers for gym and recess. So really, honestly, there's no reason that kids should not wear their sneakers to school. I know in the winter it gets tough with boots, but if you have an old pair of sneakers that you want to keep here, I am totally fine with that. Changes of clothes are really helpful. And I know sometimes students have accidents or get muddy at recess. Anyone who's sent in a change of clothes, I put them in a Ziploc bag with your name on it, and I am keeping them in the classroom for an emergency. So if you have not done that, please do so. We do go outside for recess in the winter, so please try to dress your child appropriately. Make sure that they have warm clothing on, and your child will need snow pants and boots for winter recess time. As far as birthday celebrations, we have been doing a birthday in a bag. So when it is your child's birthday month, I will send home a paper bag with a note, and you can fill a special birthday treat inside the bag. That just keeps it safe as far as COVID and allergies. So it was a student's birthday just yesterday, and the mom put a card for her child in the bag and just like a small little treat. You can send them a cupcake or a fancy pen to write with, something just to make them smile at school on their birthday. Okay, so the last thing I have to talk to you about, and I know this has been fast, so again, let me know if you have any further questions. I will also email this slideshow out to all of you. The last thing is that Liverpool uses G Suite for education. G Suite is just like a fancy way of saying Google and all of the Google apps. So Google Classroom, we use Gmail, which is Google's email. We sometimes use Google Docs and Google Slides. And in order to access all of those things, you will need to sign a permission slip. A lot of times there's educational videos that are on YouTube that I love to push out to the students, and they love to see them. But the kids cannot go on YouTube at all if you do not sign this sheet. And just so you know, the unsafe material on YouTube is blocked from students in the district, but it's really important that you sign that form so that they can access everything they need to do on their Chromebooks. Okay, so that is it. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it was a little long-winded. I tried to go quickly, but also tried to make sure that I told you everything you needed to know. Like I said, have loved working with your children and getting to know them. And I'm so very excited to see them grow this year. And I think you will be amazed at from where they are now to where they get to at the end of the school year. So thank you again, and have a wonderful night.